Hello and welcome to AWLegacy Episode 3. On this episode, we're going to take a look at the most unique of these early act rest shows, as well as set things up for the finale of Season 1. If you haven't seen the first two episodes, I highly suggest going back and watching them. You'll be introduced to a bunch of new faces, see the origins of some of your current favorites, and even see Saori Anou dance to the offspring. And with that out of the way, let us begin. And now we arrive at Act 4, Detour. And while it's still an actress girls beginning show, there are many things about it that seem a bit different. First, the show starts with Mizuki Ishizuka, accompanied by Gabuko, who is playing the Too Sexy ring announcer, a play on Ishizuka's nickname the Too Cute ring announcer, and Sakano's Too Beautiful ring announcer nickname as well. Then Ishizuka runs down the card and the show starts with minimal fanfare compared to the earlier act shows. This one features wrestlers from outside the promotion including Ice Ribbon, Diana, and Stardom. The matches kick off with Amy Nishina versus Asami Hisato. Overall, this is just a basic match between two rookies, including my personal favorite forklift certified wrestler of all time, Amy Nishina, but Hisato ends up picking up the win. Both look pretty solid here, but now it's time for the show to start taking its detour. The next match is Tai Honma versus Hiromi Momura. At this point, Honma was 100% sold on being a pro wrestler. She is committed to the new career choice, and we hear her recognizable entrance theme song for the first time. She's even got a rally towel made. She is all in. Momura is a Stardom member, and she's the first guest on this show. She comes out and dances to You Make Me Feel by Cobra Starship. She'd have made a great actress girl. And this is truly where we start to see Tai shine in the ring. Momura and Tai play with each other really well here. A lot of groundwork, a lot of heart from Honma. It's also neat seeing some of the Stardom girls second here, including Starlight Kid. And then, after accidentally going back to the DVD menu, we have Saori Anou versus Yuka from Ice Ribbon. This match is actually fantastic. Anou was obviously taking wrestling seriously at the time, and Yuka had been around for a couple years and was only a few months away from her final match. There's some really great stuff in the match. My favorite spot, though, is where Yuka and Anou do a sequence of bridging pins. And Yuka, she wins the match with a diving forearm that just rules. It was such great stuff. And next is the match that really made me have to seek out this show. Natsumi Maki against Yumiko Hotta, at the time from Diana. And their entrances could not be any more different. The Kyari Pamu Pamu entrance music is back, and instead of a magic bucket, Boy has a baby chick bag that she throws treats from.
Hotta Yumiko no入場です。
Hotta comes out exactly as you would expect. Her iconic theme song complete with the opening guitar riff echoing through Shinkiba, and there she is, metal chain and all. This is Hotta's first appearance in Actress Girls. She'd eventually become an integral part of the promotion and an influential guiding force over the next few years. And the two are so different, so much so that when the bell rings, laughter can be heard from the audience. Just the thought of these two against each other seemed absurd. But Hotta actually shakes Poi's hands. And she just seems amused by everything. Poi seems determined to prove herself, and Hotta actually seems to want to give her the opportunity. But for those who don't know Hotta, she is an unclimbable mountain. And after a few attempts to forearm Hotta, Hotta just throws Poi to the ground. Poi tries a headlock, Hotta brushes it off. As she does most of Poi's offense, Poi tries to do a rope climb arm drag, and Hotta just laughs it off. Poi just stomps Hotta for a bit after this. Hotta laughs it off as well, but Poi is so proud and does a cartwheel in the ring as people chant for her. She turns around and Hotta is just sitting there. Poi then tries to hide behind the ref and almost sneaks a win with the roll-up. Then Hotta just decides to take control. They get outside the ring, she wraps the chain around Poi's neck, and then she just starts throwing members of the Actress roster around at ringside. She misses a shot, and then the Actress Girls roster jumps her, with Manase, Gabako, Tai, Hisato getting some offense in while Nishina distracts the ref. Poi tries to do a bow and arrow and it just doesn't work. In fact, Hotta just goes with it and then turns it into a pin attempt. But Poi's heart keeps her in this match longer than it should. Hotta ends it with a slap. While it's a one-sided match that I feel like would result in divided opinions, it's a lot of fun, and when the crowd really got into cheering for Poi, the energy was incredible. Hotta cuts a promo on Poi, and Poi yells out, "It hurts." Hotta pretty much responded with, "It feels good, doesn't it?" And she explained that even when fighting such an uphill battle, it's important to keep fighting, and she shook her hand. Next is Yuki Harima's final match against Gabako. However, Gabako is nowhere to be found. Instead, the ring announcer from before is in the ring, introducing Gabako. But then, Harima exposes the ring announcer as Gabako all along. It's silly, and Gabako tries to do Shinsuke Nakamura's Yeo taunt. Harima tries to coach her, Gabako tricks her, and Gabako hits the corner foot stomp, and then the Bomaye and picks up the win. It's pretty silly, especially since it was only a couple of weeks after Nakamura actually left New Japan for WWE. Harima then announces officially that she's graduated from Actress Girls and said that she will continue to be active as an actress. Harima would go on to achieve massive success after her time in Actress Girls, but we'll get into the specifics of that in our final episode. Then, it's Yuna Manase versus Maya Yukihi from Ice Ribbon. It's no surprise to anyone who's watched her, but Yukihi's strikes are just incredible here. Her and Manase exchange kicks, forearms. Yukihi wins out on that exchange. Manase changes her game plan, but Yukihi just outclasses her every step of the way. Yukihi wins, and Manase's frustration boils over. It's the first time she's had any kind of real competition here. She attacks the ref, and she even needs to be held back by the Actress roster. Before she leaves, she shoulders Yukihi, who just brushes it off. And now, it's time for the main event. It's Maika Ozaki versus Tsukushi from Ice Ribbon. And this match just rules. They cross paths many times after this, but this one's a real treat. It's a matchup between Ozaki's strength and Tsukushi's combination of speed and some of the most violent strikes you'll ever see in a wrestling match. Tsukushi does not win over the Actress Girls fans early. Bending some rules with a corner choke and throwing Ozaki by her hair. We see some great groundwork from Tsukushi, some speed, and she even shows a bit of strength over Ozaki. Ozaki dodges a missile dropkick, and she takes advantage of the opportunity, taking it to the more experienced young vet. Tsukushi then hits her double stomp and wins the match. And this show was just a lot of fun. Its main event is a great example why. It's impossible for these Actress members who only have a few shows of experience to beat these guests, both like from a political standpoint and also just from believability. It's the 5th show and they're up against veterans. But the fact that they made the show so engaging and interesting despite the easily predicted outcomes, it's something Actress has always been good at. They showcase everyone's personality and you just want to root for them. Whether it's the charming nature of Natsumi Maki, or the visible frustration of Manase as she tries to beat someone she's not quite equal to after being able to dominate most of the other AWG members over the last few months. The Actress roster then comes out and takes a curtain call with lots of applause, and they're joined by the various guests who each take turns talking. Some promote themselves, some put over the Actress talent, including Hotta, who has some positive words for the roster. And we don't get the typical closing words or even pinkies up. So this show really does feel like an island within the Actress Girls' first season. After Act 4, our next stop is Stardom vs. the World, which kicks off with Mizuka Arai and Fuka. On this show, we see Start, the team of Starlight Kid, Natsumi Maki, and Saori Anou. The three do a choreographed dance to I Want You Back by the Jackson 5. They're up against the Azumi Army team of Azumi, Kaori Yoneyama, and Haruka Kato. This is another really fun match. Poi and Yoneyama just tear it up. And we also see the rivalry start to begin between Poi and Kato. It's really fun seeing Anou and Poi mix it up outside of Actress at this point, especially with the guests that just came in. Anou and Kato have some great moments, and Kid is just a joy to watch at this point. She's not the Kid that took over the world in the 2020s, but she's still got a heart that's undeniable from the outset. And on the same day as Stardom vs. the World, Yuna Manase and Nao Kakura had a match at Wrestle 1. It was a fun little showcase and even featured some interference from Maika and Tai. At this point, there was only one way this match could end, with the Queen of Actress victorious. And now it's time for Act 5. And this is actually the first time the company uses Act Res Girls as their name with the Res pun. And we're back to a typical beginning show here, with Blackshine and Gabako doing a bit as fans enter Shinkiba. We get the dance from Sakano and Ishizuka, we get our only down of the card, and first out comes Blackshine. They're facing each other, but then out comes Blackshine, and then this becomes a tag match. Sakano is absolutely flustered.
第一試合タッグマッチ青コーナーすごく悪いやつらブラックシャイン
Ishizuka, though, nails the introduction of the other Blackshine.
続きまして赤コーナーすごく悪いやつらブラックシャイン
And this match is the chaotic, comedic, borderline mess you would expect. It's a fun ride. I love the spot when Tashan stops to tie her shoe. The bear, Jishan, is a big part of this match, getting tagged in, calling for a moonsault. hitting a Hurricane Rana on Rishan. Bear's got some skills, reversing a brainbuster into a roll-up. He eventually hits that moonsault to pick up the win. Overall, it's a fun way to effectively close out the Black Shine chapter in Actress Girls. Match 2 is Gabako versus Maika Ozaki. Maika comes out fairly normally, and Gabako has a dance duo before her entrance, and they rule. Gabako comes out to no music, but she's got the halo because, she ascended at Act 3. And Gabako does not show Maika any sportsmanship. As the camera moves in, it becomes obvious that Gabako is wearing bubble wrap on top of her gear, and also has kick pads on her legs. She gives Maika a gi, a traditional karate gear, signifying that this is going to be a martial arts contest. The match then starts with Maika trying a takedown and Gabako getting a kick in. Then they just leave, and then it all just breaks down into chaos. Not just with Maika and Gabako, but with everyone else too. Tai and Anou are screaming, Manase pops up with Gabako's halo, the ref is counting, and then there's an explosion. Maika comes out to the ring with a Nerf gun, or maybe it was a bazooka. Then Gabako stumbles to the ring, clothes shredded and hair blown off. They do a strike exchange. Maika then goes for a hug, during which we get the 5-minute call, which was just incredible time.
5分経過
They take a second. Maika throws Gabako, and that ends the match.
Bazooka.
Oh, so it was a bazooka. And the next match is Rika Miyama versus Amy Nishina. Miyama's outburst and it's her typical serious self. Out comes Nishina, and her sword work during her intro is much more dangerous than Mari's is. She threatens the audience and then Miyama, but thankfully she has many workplace safety certifications, so it's okay. This is a fun, short match between two promising rookies. Miyama knows what she's going for at this point, and Nishina is finding her strengths. Some of her stuff lacks speed or confidence early in the match. Miyama goes up to the top, she misses, Nishina hits a bulldog, follows it up with a double knees, and you really see her starting to feel it. But Miyama stays cool, gets someone with a scoop slam and an armbar. Miyama shows respect after the match. Nishina shakes her hand, the way of the kunoichi. Next up is the odd couple team of the Bloody Cat Nao Kakura and the Beauty Dragon Asami Hisato. Kakura puts a kawaii headband on Hisato, who wears a baseball jersey to the ring. Asami is not thrilled about this, but Kakura insists. Someone nyahs from the crowd. Their opponents are Fumi Shigawa and Natsumi Maki, simply the greatest tag team ever assembled in history. Both do their bit of throwing treats into the crowd for their entrance. Poi and Kakura start things off, and Poi is just worlds better when it comes to athleticism and skill at this point. But still, Kakura gets some neat stuff in. They both tag in their partners. Shigawa gets in the ring, does a kick to Asami to make some space so she can juggle, exclaiming, "Showtime!" Showtime! And then we see what may be her worst attempt yet. Asami, being a baseball enthusiast, has a fierce throw and throws all three beanbags at Shigawa. And they are indeed heaters. Shigawa then throws some weak strikes to answer Asami. Poi comes in and just fires up Shigawa. And they finally start exchanging forearms. After another assist, Shigawa kicks it up a notch. Then she runs the ropes, maybe for too long. Asami just chills, but then Gabako yells from ringside. Shigawa then does Gabako's stomp move. It was a neat moment, especially after Shagawa shared her appreciation for Gabako at the end of their match at Act 3. Poi gets in, and then Asami firmly establishes herself as a no-nonsense bully, and she's even bullying the ref. Against Shigawa, Kakuta begins to really shine, and you see a lot of her bloody cat offense. Things are really coming together, but like earlier, Poi gains control, and she even calls out Kakuta for being predictable and demands that she steps up. Both Shigawa and Poi go for a bow and arrow, but Shigawa struggles. Asami picks up the win, and then it's intermission time, and out comes Poi. Sakano and Ishizuka ask her about her match with Hotta and how a completely different match like today's compares, as well as her experience in her first Stardom match. She talks about how the privilege of being able to fight against a veteran like Hotta is not lost on her, and that she's always learning whenever she's in the ring, and Stardom was a big eye-opener for her. And even with her inexperience, she felt like she had influence on performers like Shigawa in her match on this show. It's pretty interesting to hear that from Poi at this point in her career, especially considering she's still very young as well. The first match after intermission is Tai Honma, again coming out to a new theme song, versus Saori Anou, who, while making the opening of her entrance even more epic, is still very much a goofball. Tai then starts things off quick with a dropkick before the bell, and Tai is really putting things together. She's not quite the Tai she is now, but she's got so much more confidence than on the previous shows. Anou does indeed go Saori Anou mode in this one. She keeps working on new things. We see an attempt at the Potering, and just like I said in the last episode, she'll get there. At times, it's still rough, Tai missing a tiger feint kick, but actually it played in pretty well into the story. Tai was not supposed to be a focal point of Actress at this point, but here she is against one of the future ace candidates. She knew she had to surprise Anou to beat her, and as the match wore on, she exhausted herself and really started to become imperfect. These two would go on to define Actress Girls for the next half-decade, Tai being the only member from Act 0 through the disbanding of Colors and Beginning. Eventually, Anou just takes control and ends it with a brilliant bridging fisherman suplex, as we've come to expect from her. And the main event is a big one. Yuna Manase against Maika Ozaki. Two of the 4 pillars of early Actress, and 2 of the 3 that are still with the company. Ozaki is doing double duty, and Manase too, kinda. Manase does a cartwheel. Maika tries to match the energy. Manase does even more. Maika tries again, and it's a fun intro. They even high-five each other. There's a lot of respect here. Maika is one of Manase's greatest students, even looking back from 2024. And as someone who matches up with her better than pretty much anyone on the Actress roster at the time, Manase has power, size, experience advantage over everyone, but Maika shows she could match her in almost every step of the way. She's been taught well. But Manase is the queen and completely committed to defending her throne. Ozaki's confidence becomes her downfall here. At times it looks like she's going to pull it off, but Manase picks her spots and in the end leaves no doubt. This is some truly great stuff and a continuation of what makes these early shows so special. A continuation of Turtles and Mars and their rivalry, even with a member gone. And there are some unexpected developments still to come. Manase takes the microphone, talks about how many people there are for the show. And I'm going to just warn you, my Japanese is not up to par to translate and interpret this promo. It even seems confusing for the people who were there at the time. I've assembled a few different sources, blogs, including Yuna's, tweets, some other things, but it's going to be imperfect. So Manase then asks for the audience's attention. Anou comes out already in tears trying to stop Manase, but Manase reassures Anou it will be okay. Manase then says she had a conversation with Representative Sakaguchi. She says her dream is that the members of Actress Girls will thrive. She praises Anou. She then says they'll have an opportunity to shine even brighter after she leaves. And then there's the confusion in the audience. Actress Girls has been her project. Her fingerprints are all over it. And for her to leave now is perplexing. But what isn't confusing is her conviction in how much the actress roster means to her, and how proud she is of everyone. She points out Anou's match. She points out her match with Maika, how much everyone's grown. You can hear the emotion in her voice as she holds back tears. Manase then talks about her injuries, her broken collarbone, and an uncertainty for her future. The roster is at ringside, and there isn't a single dry eye. She then says she plans to step away from the ring in general after her last scheduled match in May, the festival in Odate. And losing Manase creates such uncertainty moving forward. They've already lost Harima, and now they're down 2 of their initial 4 pillars. She tries to assure everyone it'll be okay. There's nervous laughter, tears. She's proud of what Actress has become, the support from the audience, the paper tape, the merch lines. She's confident in everyone to continue that momentum. Then there's some back and forth with the audience, members of the crowd expressing their confusion. But one person yells out, and Manase talks over part of it, but it seems they are saying, Yuna Manase, in a word, is Actress Girls. For a moment, the tears stop. Manase smiles. Anou nods in agreement, and the audience claps. Then Anou grabs the microphone. The audience begs for a single match for the next show. Anou asks Manase for exactly that. There's a bit more back and forth with the crowd. Manase talks about how they wanted this match, how a singles match between them is so significant for the future of Actress Girls. It ends in a handshake and a high five, and even without a full commitment to the singles match. For Manase, it's a heavy decision and one she needs to think about. I hope this creates a basic understanding of what happened here and how important it is to the build-up to the final show. Then, the show ends with Sakano and Ishizuka in the ring, and they don't do their show-ending dance. The roster comes out for a curtain call, and there's a bit of a somber feeling in the air. Ishizuka then calls out Manase for the curtain call, and she just doesn't come out. Anou runs to the back as the crowd chants Yuna. It takes a while, but Manase eventually does come out with Anou and takes a bow. Anou then takes the microphone and wraps the show up with the familiar closing, and it's pinkies up for Act 5. And a lot happens before we get to Act 6. On March 4th, Manase officially announces that she will participate at Act 6 and will indeed face Saori Anou in a singles match. The poster for the show is released, and it's of Anou gripping Manase's arm. The tagline is, "The last queen of Actress Girls, the last match for Manase." Anou then embarks on her Start Challenge tour of stardom. Her first match is with Kairi Hojo. A huge match with a superstar opponent is her first test.
お互いに私もまだまだもっともっと強くなってお互いこれからいっぱい戦っていこう。いいスタートだったね。
And earlier in the show, there's a 5-way with Natsumi Maki, as well as members of the Azumi Army, Azumi, Kaori Oniyama, Haruka Kato, and Alex Lee. And this one's a lot of fun. Yoneyama grabs a microphone and introduces everyone, but she stumbles with the unfamiliar Natsumi, simply calling her Kiro, yellow. Yoneyama then declares she'll win and be the new leader of Azumi-gun. For some reason, Azumi agrees that the match will be for the leadership of the faction, and the off chance Poi would win this and become leader is hilarious, but they immediately quadruple team her. The crowd, though, gets behind Poi. They chant Kiro to the confusion of Azumi-gun. It's a fun match. It's a silly ending. It's peak Azumi-gun. They apparently just absorbed Poi into their ranks, and again, Yoneyama has an amazing name for Poi. Poi responds being big mad, as expected. Poi's next appearance is teaming with Starlight Kid against Azumi and Haruka Kato, and it builds that rivalry between Poi and Kato, both being idols. On this show is Anou's second challenge match, and her opponent is, well, Io Shirai. I know there's some really cool stuff in this, and it's neat to see her mix things up with Shirai this early in her career, but there's no beating her. After the match, Shirai praises her and encourages her to keep going, that her future in stardom is bright. It does take a while, but again, she'll get there. And on March 12, 2016, Maika Ozaki abruptly announced her graduation from Actress Girls. Another one of the four pillars will no longer be with the company moving forward, leaving just Anou and the soon-to-depart Manase for Act 6, adding even more to the importance of their upcoming singles match. At Stardom's the highest, we get Amy Nishino's debut in Stardom. She teams with Yoneyama and Azumi to face Poi, Starlight Kid, and Hiromi Mamura. And then it's one more trip to Reina, and this time it's for the Maki Narumiya retirement show, featuring Saori Anou and Amy Nishino against Tai Honma and Natsumi Maki. A match that was originally planned to be Poi and Anou versus Honma and Maika Ozaki. We'd have to wait a bit longer for the debut of Spice App. And now our road leads us right to beginning Act 6, the finale of the first season of Actress Girls. Thank you all for watching, and join us in our next episode as we look at Act 6 and what comes after it for everyone.